Another movie about madness in the multiverse, where we get two animated teams doing everything, everywhere, all at once, in order to help some heroes who have no way home. On this episode of Moving Panels, we discuss Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse.
Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome to Moving Panels, the podcast where we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. I'm your host, Laramie Wells, and joining me today in the co-host chair for her annual review episode, it is my daughter, Ruby Wells.
Hi!
All right, so this was a movie that came out this year, and Ruby was excited about it, and I bought it the day it came out. And we have watched it, Ruby has watched it twice, kind of. And I've watched it like 1.5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a crossover between Teen Titans Go and the DC Superhero Girls.
Not really.
Yeah, we'll get into that. This is actually the 4th crossover of these two. The first was in May of 2020 in a Teen Titans Go episode called Superhero Feud.
Dun, dun, dun.
Have you seen that episode? It's where they play like Family Feud.
Yeah, we watched it together.
I honestly don't remember. So, and then in May of 2021, there was a 4-episode event that we just started to watch, but we didn't watch all the way through, called Space House.
That is already very entertaining.
Yeah, so we may have to watch that and talk about that one another time. And then earlier this year in January, they released a graphic novel, which I got for you and you read, called
Yay!
Exchange Students.
It's about the Teen Titans who somehow have no idea who the Supergirls are.
Well, they're supposed to be in different universes. That's the whole point.
I know, but they've done so many crossovers.
Yeah, that is the thing, because in this one, again, we talked about they've crossed over several times, but in this movie, it's almost as if they don't know each other.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, what's your name? And it's so confusing because they've done so many crossovers, but yet don't know each other.
Yeah. But then this one came out on May 24th, 2022 on DVD and Blu-ray. It then aired on the Cartoon Network on May 28th, and I believe it is now. You can see it on HBO Max, as you can with most DC stuff. But let's go ahead and get into the characters. A lot of characters here, and as always, with voiceover stuff, I like to see if I can surprise Ruby with who some of these voices are.
We've done a bunch of this. I don't think you can.
Well, we've done it with the Teen Titans Go before. We've never done it with Superhero Girls. So, first off, there's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is voiced by Grey Griffin. Now, Grey Griffin also voices Giganta in the movie. And on the television show, she's the voice of Lois Lane.
You've told me that.
Okay. Well, some of our listeners might know her more recently as Monster Girl on Invincible. And Ruby would know her as the voice of Lola, Lana, and Lily on The Loud House.
What?
See, I told you I would find something to get you with.
The thing is, in Loud House, only one person voices 3 characters.
Yep, and that's the same actress who voices Wonder Woman.
That's so hard to figure out because Wonder Woman has this accent.
Yep.
This Amazon accent, what I would say. And then Lana and Lily and Lola don't even have an accent.
Well, that's what makes her such a good voiceover person.
Like Raven.
Well, and then so let's get into the next one, which is Batgirl, who is voiced by the very talented Tara Strong, who is also the voice of Raven on Teen Titans Go. So Batgirl on DC Superhero Girls and Raven on Teen Titans Go are the same person.
How is that possible?
She's that good. Do you know what? She is also Harley Quinn.
I think you've told me that.
I have. Tara Strong is also the voice. In fact, Tara Strong has been the voice of Harley Quinn in almost every animated DC thing since 2011.
Really?
Yep. So over 10 years. She's also the voice of Tara on Young Justice. She is the voice of Kitty Fairy on Gabby's Dollhouse.
What?
Yep. Something that I know your sister really likes to watch, but I know you've watched too.
I kind of like it, but it starts to get kind of kitty-ish.
Yeah. Speaking of kitty-ish,
Oh, God.
she is also the voice of Unikitty. She's also the voice of Unikitty.
Okay.
Yep. And she's the voice of Twilight Sparkle.
Really?
Yep, on My Little Ponies.
Oh, that's cool.
She actually is the voice of Ben Tennyson on Ben 10.
You've told me that.
And she's the voice of Timmy Turner on The Fairly Odd Parents.
Really?
Yep. And here's one you'll be surprised to know. She's the voice of Miss Minutes on Loki.
Who?
Didn't you watch some of Loki?
Yes,
And she was the little animated clock
Oh!
that
yeah,
talked with like
you
a southern
told me
accent.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, who?
But funny enough, this isn't the first time she's played Batgirl. She was actually Batgirl on the new Batman Adventures, which was a cartoon back in the 90s.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Then we got Supergirl, who you and I have talked a lot about. Supergirl is voiced by Mad TV alum Nicole Sullivan.
Who is also in the Thundermans.
Yep. You've seen her in a lot of different things. Have you ever watched Kim Possible?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll have to introduce you to Kim Possible at some point, and she plays a character named Shigo on Kim Possible. So, but yeah, Nicole Sullivan's been in a lot of sitcoms, and so I'm sure our listeners are familiar with Nicole Sullivan. Then we've got the Green Lantern of the DC superhero girls, Jessica Cruz, who is voiced by Myrna Velasco, and you may remember this. She is the voice of Carla on Elena of Avalor.
Really?
Yep. Do you know who Carla is?
Yes, I know who Carla is.
Well, that is the same actress that plays Jessica Cruz. She was also, now I wasn't familiar with this, but I know you might be. She was also CJ on Descendants Wicked World.
What?
Uh-huh.
She was CJ?
She was CJ. Again, I've never seen that, so I don't know who CJ is, but I know you're a big fan of Descendants, so...
I've only watched a few episodes.
I think there are only a few episodes, though.
No, actually, there are 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. So you're surprised by that one?
Definitely.
All right. And then Bumblebee is voiced by Kimberly Brooks. Kimberly Brooks, I found out, hasn't done an awful lot. So she's still new to the business, but I did find out that she's the voice of Cricket on The Loud House.
Really?
Yep. I don't know who Cricket is.
Wait, Cricket?
Yeah.
Who is Cricket?
Okay, so you don't know who Cricket is. So she may have only been in a couple episodes of The Loud House, but she's Cricket on The Loud House. And then finally, rounding it out, we got Zatanna, voiced by Carrie Walgren, who's also the voice of Star Sapphire, one of the villains.
Wait, that doesn't say Cricket.
Yes, it does.
What?
No, that's that's the one I'm talking about now. So you're looking at my notes. All right, so Zatanna, Carrie Walgren voices Miss Carmichael on The Loud House. Now, do you know who that is?
Carmichael?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I just found a lot of people did the voices on The Loud House, and I knew you were familiar. And then I know you and your sister also watch Shark Dog, and I found out she's the voice of Mia.
I do not watch Shark Dog.
Well, your sister does. But she's the voice of Mia on Shark Dog. All right, so those are your DC superhero girls and one Teen Titan, because Tara Strong is also Raven.
Well, it kinda...
Yeah. All All right, and let's talk about the Teen Titans. We have Robin, and we've gone into depth with these guys on our last year's episode where we did Teen Titans Go to the Movies. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to that one.
My first episode.
Yep, but we're just going to go ahead and give them their credit. Robin, as always, voiced by Scott Menville, who actually voices another version of Robin in this, which we'll talk about later. Cyborg, who is voiced by Carrie Payton. Starfire by Hayden Walsh. Beast Boy by Greg Sipes. And Raven, again, was voiced by Tara Strong.
Tara Strong!
Then we've got one of our bad guys, one of the main bad guys, Synthona. And Synthona is voiced by Missy Pyle. Now let me see if I can get you to realize who Missy Pyle is. Missy Pyle played Violet's mom in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie.
What?
And and she also played Coach Webb in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay, now this is just crazy.
So you can picture the lady who is voicing that character? Yeah. Of course, people my age are more familiar with her probably from a movie like Galaxy Quest. But this is fun. This character of Synthona was not made for this movie. Do you know that?
Really?
Yep. She actually exists in a comic book. And I do say a comic book. She appeared in a graphic novel called Superman, the Last God of Krypton.
Oh, so that kind of makes sense, because she would escape from her jewel and then
that's not quite how it works in the comic.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But the whole thing about feeding off the souls, like she was doing in the movie.
Yeah.
That's similar to what she does.
Make them her slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's similar to what she does.
Turn evil into just a bunch of evil.
Yeah. But in that comic, yes, she fights off against Superman. But yep, she's not original. They pulled her from a comic book. Then we've also got our other bad guy, Lex Luthor, voiced by Will Friedle, who also does a Matthew McConaughey impersonation as he's doing Aquaman. Most of our listeners might know Will Friedle as Eric on Boy Meets World. He was also Terry McGinnis, aka Batman on Batman Beyond. And again, I'll introduce Ruby to Kim Possible, where he is the voice of Ron Stoppable. But another big voice actor. He also is the voice of Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon, but you haven't reached that point yet of knowing what those are.
Yeah, and I've seen What If, so I kind of know what Guardians of the Galaxy is.
And then I couldn't pass over the great Phil Lamar, Mad TV fame, and now just a voice actor icon. He is not only the voice of Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern, which he's been since Justice League. He's the voice of The Flash. He's the voice of Hawkman. When you go to the show, he's the voice of Zatara. And, yep.
Wait, what?
Yep. And then a lot of people know him as Hermes on Futurama. Again, I was throwing in some that you might know. He's Bernard on Craig of the Creek.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And he's Kotaro on The Loud House.
Who's that?
Okay, so again, I was just finding Loud House connections, and I knew you were a big fan. So I was taking a shot that you would know who they were.
No.
All right, so these are all of our really big main characters. There's a bunch of little side characters that don't really have big parts.
But her name's Zatanna.
No. But Zatara is Zatanna's dad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Zatara. So, of all of these characters, who is your favorite and least favorite character?
My favorite character is Raven, and my least favorite, that's a hard one. But I don't really have a least favorite, though.
You don't have a least favorite, so you like them all?
Yeah.
What did you think of the way they portrayed Batman with him just like mumbling?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't like how you never knew what they were saying. And if they didn't explain it to you, you would never know what he said.
I still found it hilarious. They just have Batman, when he speaks, he just like, but they know exactly what he said, which is just hilarious to me. And then there's one time that he speaks clearly. But yeah, it was funny.
I didn't hear a time where he spoke clearly.
Well, he still had the like raspy voice, but he did. Yeah, I'm. What did you think of their portrayal of Superman?
No, just...
You didn't like their portrayal of Superman?
No, 'cause how they went, I thought he was a villain at first.
Well, they portray him as he's trying to prevent Kara from getting into trouble. And he's almost acting like a big protective older brother.
He's not her brother.
I know, he's
though.
cousin, but he's acting as the big older brother.
When she was supposed to be older than him.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of the villain Sathona?
Sathona, actually, I was really surprised by her. I always thought that, I knew that she was gonna come out of that jewel sometime or not, but I didn't know that she was gonna go into Supergirl's body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she kept saying she wanted the strongest Kryptonian. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. All right.
Okay.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to an 80s Flick Flashback podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-hosts to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.
All right, so let's get into what we'll call the moving panels, which will really just be us talking about the movie. So right before this, we talked about how Sathona wanted the strongest Kryptonian, and Lex Luthor thought that was Superman. But then we found out it wasn't Superman, it was Supergirl. What were your thoughts on that?
I was so confused. I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was going on because I thought Superman and Supergirl were the exact same strength.
Well, have you ever heard why they say that Supergirl is actually stronger than Superman?
I think you've told me, but I forgot.
So there's a theory that because Supergirl, Kara, actually lived on Krypton for a lot longer, like she grew up on Krypton. She became depending on the version, but she became a teenager on Krypton before she was sent away. Whereas Kal-El, Superman, was still a baby. So that means that Kara, her body kind of is, I guess you would say, more Kryptonian. Because her body adapted to Krypton, had longer to adapt to Krypton. So then when she comes to Earth and the yellow sun and the gravity and all that gives her powers, her body processed it differently, which actually makes her stronger.
Oh, doesn't she get, stuck in a time warp and becomes younger than Superman?
Yes. So, again, depending on the storyline, her capsule got either went through a black hole or it got stuck inside a meteor. But yeah, so that means she came to Earth much later than she was supposed to come the same time as Superman. But it caused her to come years later, and Superman was already a full-grown adult. And she was still the teenager or whatever age she is.
Yeah, but I don't really like that how she got stuck there while Superman's just living his life on Earth.
Well, that's comics. So, what did you think of the story that was told?
I don't really like how they call it a crossover.
Yep, that's the thing. So this is a DC Superhero Girls movie. It really is.
Yeah, it just has Teen Titans in it.
It's got Teen Titans as kind of a framing function. They're at the beginning. They show up in the middle to do a song like they always do. And
Don't
then
cross over my heart.
Yeah. And then they show up at the end and they have their own little battle with Sithona. But yeah, this isn't a Teen Titans movie, and
it's not a crossover movie.
And I really think you talked about how you like how the Teen Titans talk like they know they're in a show. I like how they pretty much said it, and they said they're riding our coattails. You know, because Superhero Girls doesn't have as good of ratings as Teen Titans Go. And so they were really saying Teen Titans Go is only attached to this to try to boost the ratings.
And I love how Control Freak went when they asked how are their ratings.
Yeah, how are the Supergirls ratings or Superhero Girls ratings? And he was did you notice that Robin at one point mentions that they've had a movie in theaters?
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about the Teen Titans, and he's talking about Teen Titans Go to the movies.
He was like, well, our action was in theaters.
Yeah. What about the storyline with Harley Quinn?
I don't understand it. I've watched the whole show like many times, and it never shows a single part when Supergirl and Harley Quinn figure out each other's identities.
It's Batgirl and Harley Quinn.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Batgirl and Harley Quinn. Well, again, I haven't watched the show, so I don't know. But yeah, this is apparently supposed to follow a storyline from the DC Superhero Girls show, where Batgirl and Harley Quinn, or I should say Barbara and Harleen, discover each other's secret identities. And then they keep it a secret, but in this movie, it's revealed to the rest of the DC Superhero Girls. But also, Harley becomes a superhero.
She's not really. She's still a supervillain. She just did it one time.
Yeah, but she's with them at the end.
Yeah.
And she helps them at the end.
Yeah, but she said she wants to be bad, but taking over the world a little too much.
Yeah, so that's she doesn't like that. That is the plan of the Legion of Doom in this one. And then we kind of had at the end, we get another crossover. It's referenced at the very beginning where Aquaman shows up and he goes, "Yeah, I wanted to call us the Super Friends, but I got outvoted." And then later, even Aqualad says, Super Friends would be a better name. So at the end, we actually see the Super Friends. The old 1970s and 80s cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon.
Raven sends them to a dimension where they find out where they can return it, and then they see a video of the Teen Titans eating nachos, and there's cheese all over the tower.
Yeah, so they have the amulet of Sithona, and Raven sends it to another dimension, and then we get the star flashes. Those of you who remember that from Super Friends, and we even get the voiceover. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, and we get the best look of the old animation, and we get some voice work by these actors to make it sound like the old the old cartoon. But yeah, they check in on where it came from, and they see the Teen Titans, and they go, yeah, never mind. But again, they've done stuff like that, and it usually leads to another movie. So what do you think the chances are that we'll have Teen Titans Go meets the Super Friends? Yeah? You don't think it'll happen?
No.
No?
Because, like...
You never know, though, with Teen Titans Go, though.
Oh, I love the part where, Batman covers Robin's eyes when they watch that.
While they're watching it, the Super Friends version of Batman and Robin, Batman covers Robin's eyes, yep. So, what was your favorite scene out of this movie?
My favorite scene would have to be the Super Friends when they're watching the Teen Titans.
Oh, yeah. So nothing from the main storyline? You just like the little Super Friends bit at the end?
It's hilarious.
All right. Anything else you want to share about the movie? Now, this movie's only 80 minutes long. Or it's like 75 minutes long. So it is a very short movie.
Still an hour, though.
It's over an hour, but yes. But anything else you want to add?
I kind of want to add how the Supergirls have so many crossovers with the Teen Titans. Supergirls never mention that they're in a show.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something, is that the Teen Titans Go show is very meta. They always talk about the awareness that they're on a show. Whereas, and of course they get goofy and crazy. Whereas this version of the DC Superhero Girls cartoon is so much more serious.
Yeah, the real show is not that serious.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, then let's go ahead and get into our final decision. We call it bag it, stack it, or trade it. So go ahead, Ruby. Do you need to be reminded what they mean?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what do you say, Ruby? Do you bag it, stack it, or trade it when it comes to Mayhem in the Multiverse?
Stack it.
Okay. Why do you stack it?
Because it's not like a show that I would watch over and over and over and over again. But, I would, watch it once in a while. Probably, I do like it, but I wouldn't, be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
That I would be talking about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say stack it. Although, if I was probably reviewing this with anyone other than you, I'd probably say trade it. But
that's fine with me.
I know, but I'll explain why I'm going to give it a stack it. It's a DC Superhero Girls movie. It's not it has really, you could take all the moments with the Teen Titans out and it wouldn't interrupt the movie at all. I think they're just thrown in to keep the audience's interest, because in my personal opinion, if it's just the DC Superhero Girls, it drags. I'm not going to lie. I do like, though, that the Titans even complain about how it's not really a crossover.
Yeah.
At the end, when they see them, and then they go, "Wait, it's over. We weren't involved." Like, they even, I thought it was funny, But you're talking, like I said, 75-minute movie. The Teen Titans are maybe in it 12, 15 minutes total.
Yeah, they're in it in the middle, and they complain how that was yesterday.
Yeah. And yet they get their first on the title of the movie. It's Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero, whereas really should be DC Superhero Girls and Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, because why do they get the main title?
Because they're more famous.
Yeah, they get the main title, but the DC Supergirls are the whole... They're the person who started all... They're the person who began this.
Mm-hmm. And then to call it Mayhem in the Multiverse, was there really mayhem?
No, not really.
And was there really a multiverse?
Kinda.
I mean, you had the two different universes with the Teen Titans Go and the DC Superhero Girls, but if you're going to call it Mayhem in the Multiverse, you would think that there would actually be crossing over multiverses, which they don't do.
I would think that there would be actual mayhem between all the multiverses.
Yes. Which there's more of that in Teen Titans Go versus the Teen Titans. You know, there's more of where you get to see a whole bunch of different versions of the Teen Titans, and you get more of the multiverse aspect. And I really think this was just Warner Brothers, one, trying to get people more interested into DC superhero girls, as well as capitalize on the whole multiverse trend that's happening in movies, like with Spider-Man No Way Home, with Doctor Strange, and the madness in the multiverse.
I would think you would get Mayhem in the multiverse and Madness in the multiverse mixed up, because I call that Doctor Strange movie Mayhem in the multiverse.
Yeah, but here's why I'm going to give it a stack it. This movie is geared to young children. And young children are not going to care about the connections and all that. They're just going to have fun. Well, you're slightly different because you're my child. But really, I mean, younger kids, they're not going to care. They're going to enjoy it. It's fun for them. And they get to see all these superheroes, and especially young girls. I still think the DC Superhero Girls is a great way to get young girls into this world of comics. And you enjoyed reading the comic, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so again, we're both going to put it as a stack it, and we're going to wrap it up there. And thank you, Ruby, for another. For those of you who don't know, I don't know if I said this. I always like to do this episode here because this is right around Ruby's birthday. And so Ruby's birthday will actually be next weekend. And so we are excited about that.
I just want to say that whenever I'm reading the comics, I always spell Zatanna's spells backwards to see what she's saying.
Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for listening. Hit us up on social media and wish Ruby a happy birthday. But and also drop us that 5-star rating and give us a wonderful review. All right. I'll have Ruby make the theme music for this episode. But thank you, Ruby, and thanks everybody for listening. For Moving Panels, I'm Laramie Wells, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
Ba-da-ba-ba.